Alright, Modern War number 14, November-December 2014, U.S. carrier battle groups. And I'm not going to try any identifications of what's on the cover here. Helicopters. That's what I'll say. Helicopters. Helicopters. Alright, I'm scanning the, to get the most out of the game, I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick scan of the main article. So, U.S. carrier battle groups during and since the 1980s. Right there, another naval inspired or naval themed picture there. Now that looks like an aircraft carrier. Alright. So there we go. U.S. carrier battle groups during and since the 1980s by Carl O. Schuster. They start off the absence of a significant threat from an enemy navy during the Vietnam War, basically reduced the U.S. fleet's skill in submarine and surface warfare. Focus on Vietnam also diverted the U.S. Navy's operational and development focus from traditional maritime operations to power projection ashore. All that left the USN increasingly ill-prepared tactically and technologically to face developing threats. Zumwalt, Admiral Zumwalt, who was Chief of Naval Operations, or CNO, therefore ordered his staff to study the lessons learned from Okean 70, Vietnam, and the 1973 Yom Kippur War. His directive was to use them to shape the Navy's programs for ship construction, weapons and sensor development, tactics, and fleet organization. Interesting. Zumwalt's goals: achieving long-range detection of threats, rapid response to multidimensional threats, and developing long-range maritime strike capability became the centerpiece of fleet and carrier operations for the next 25 years. So, naval logistics, there's a little call-out box there. Naval logistics, Admiral Elmo Zumwalt picture. Disastrous crash scene that ended Operation Eagle Claw. That's pretty grim. 1986 strike on Libya. The Iranian hostage crisis. OSIS, Ocean Surveillance Information System. The Navy's OSIS was one of the most important components of American naval operations during the Cold War's final 2 decades. Developed in response to the Soviets' Okean 70 exercise, OSIS integrated intelligence reporting from all available sources to provide fleet and battle group commanders with all source views reports in real time. Goal was to ensure the right information reached the right commander at the right moment. These things that I'm reading that I'm pulling out these are all so timely to today. That would avoid fleets being attacked by surprise and allow for immediate response to threats. Good stuff. And there's more on OSIS there. The Cold War, 1980s, Global View, USSR. What are these? We got anti-communist guerrillas. Communist guerrillas, like in South America there. Naval deployment. Okay, air action, ground force deployment, special forces action. Huh. It's funny, nothing at all in East Asia. Nothing at all in the Western Pacific. Huh. Interesting. Alright, so what is shown? Afghanistan, Iran, that's Eagle Claw 1980. Persian Gulf, Ethiopia, Angola, Gulf of Sidra. Lebanon, Achille Lauro. Falklands War, Grenada, Nicaragua, Central America in general. Okay. And there it is. Alright. carriers themselves. Here we've got the Xilang, China's aircraft carrier. Active phase radar, active phased array radar, flight deck area aircraft, about 20 fixed wing, including Chinese JL-9 jet trainer, plus 20 Russian-built helicopters, ski jump, aircraft launched by flying off ramp angled at 12 degrees, no catapult system. Armament, 2 aircraft lifts, propulsion. Alright, now we have current and future U.S. carriers. The nuclear-powered Nimitz-class supercarriers are the largest in the world, with up to 90 aircraft normally deployed on board. That is a lot. 90 aircraft. Starting in 2015, they are to be replaced by... Oh, that's funny, because this is 2014. They are to be replaced by Ford-class carriers, which will have an enhanced flight deck and a new nuclear power plant, and will need 500 to 900 fewer crew members. So the crew is 3,200 for this one. Okay, yeah, I was about to say I thought it was 5,000, but they're giving the air wing separately. Yes, that's what I remember. 3,200 crew for the carrier, 2,400 personnel for the air wing. So I think you add those together, well over 5,000. Big, 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 big. Carriers currently in service. Of course, this is 2014. 11 for the U.S. What, I think we're down to 10 now. 1 Brazil, 1 Britain, 1 France, 1 Spain. Actually, these numbers might have changed just a bit too. Italy, 2. That's interesting. Russia, 1. Is Russia still at 1? India, 1, and Thailand, 1. Huh. Nations that have recently decommissioned carriers. I see Australia, Chile, Canada. Huh. Carrier comparisons. Carrier comparisons. Nimitz class, U.S. obviously. Xilang, China. Queen Elizabeth, United Kingdom. Charles de Gaulle, France. Illustrious, United Kingdom. All right. All right. I don't know how much of this has changed between, well, over the last 5 years. Another view of the coming next generation Chinese carrier here. Top view, top deck view, side view. So now it's looking more like a U.S. carrier. This side view. 1980s carrier battle groups. Okay, so this is the actual battle group itself. Carrier battle groups in the 1980s changed as the all-gun warships built in the 1940s and 50s were decommissioned and replaced by newer and more deadly vessels. Which means what? What were the newer? Okay, the guided missile cruiser, guided missile destroyers, guided missile frigates. Okay. Nuclear attack submarines. So the total number of vessels varied from 7 to 10 surface ships and 1 or 2 SSNs, depending on deployment. All right. All right, U.S. and Soviet naval power 1980s. All right, back over to the East Asia, Western Pacific, U.S. 7th Fleet. 7th Fleet Headquarters, Yokosuka, Japan. Far East Fleet, Da Nang, Vietnam, obviously. Cameron, Vietnam. Vietnam is given its Soviet ally, okay, yeah. Mongolia, Afghanistan. Okay, this would be for the 1980s, yes. And Vishakhapatnam, India. Socotra, Aden, Maputo, Port Louis. Alright. So this is the main article. Typical air wing composition by carrier class. And pick up again in the next video.